Welcome
Hello.
to Recovering Addict. I am your host. I'm LT, and I'm an alcoholic addict.
I'm Fleece, married to this alcoholic addict.
I was a
and
drunk.
I love him.
I was a flippin' drunk. There's no doubt about it. Fit the night, gallons on the weekend, whiskey. Man, I look back now, knowing what I know about recovery and studying as much as I've been studying. For the last year, I've been involved 24/7, 7 days a week, heavily involved in recovery. And I look back on my insanity and I just can't believe I was there. Like, what in the world? How did I get there? How did I get sucked in to the fear and the delusion that drinking was awesome every single night? And then one day it was just going to get better. Oh, it's not the drinking, it's life. It'll get better. Drinking's okay. That's not the problem. How the heck did that even happen?
That I could quit anytime.
You guys like Link's new haircut?
He looks
Pretty
like a
crazy.
warrior.
Well, we got a pretty good show for you tonight. We got two awesome questions out of the Discord we're going to get into in a little bit. We're going to get into guilt and shame. We're going to go through a page in that in our book. We're going to hear from Cassie. If she jumps on live, we're going to hear from her live today. Also, if you guys remember, we've been doing that whole share squad thing, and Fleece tallied it up, and we got the winners. I'm going to let her announce the whole thing and blah, 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 how you can get a hold of us and yada, 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 this and that, and blah, blah, blah. All those kind of words, Do you know what I'm talking about? Should we read out of our Kindle real quick and get into our thing? What is the date today? Hey, Alexa, what's the date today? 23rd? My goodness. All right, here's our thought of the day, y'all. We who have accepted the AA principles have been faced with the necessity for thorough personal house cleaning. We must face and be rid of the things in ourselves that have been blocking us. We therefore take personal inventory. We take stock honestly. We search out the flaws and in our makeup that caused our failure. Resentment is the number one offender. Life that includes deep resentment leads only to futility and unhappiness. If you got resentments, let's get them fixed. If we are to live, we must be free of anger. So here's the question. Am I free of resentment and anger? Are you? Ask yourself that. Are you free of resentment and anger? Take your inventory right now. It'll only take you a millisecond. Anything's popping to your head? Let's talk about it. Let's get on the phone with the sponsor. Let's reach out to your support system. If your wife's right there, say, hey, I got a problem. Keep in mind, here's the meditation. The goal you are striving for, the good life you are trying to attain, do not let things divert you from that path. We made a relapse prevention plan. We put our goals down. You're trying to attain that. Do not let anything divert you from that path. Do not be overcome by the small trials and vexations of each day. Don't be overcome by those small things. Try to see the purpose and the plan to which all is leading. If, when climbing a mountain, you keep your eyes on each stony or difficult place, how wary is your climb? But if you think of each step as leading to the summit of achievement from which our glorious landscape will be opened out before you, then your climb will be endurable and you will achieve your goal. And I seen the pictures Alicia took. I imagine that was going through her head. She wasn't belly aching about each step. Oh, look at that rock. It's going to twist my ankle. She was thinking about the place she got to. Then she took some amazing pictures and she posted them on Discord. Thank you, Utah, for being so beautiful with the big mountains.
Even in this smog.
Even when we got air. California flames lighting us up.
It's making my allergies real bad.
Yeah, the air has not been good around here. That's for darn sure. Here's our prayer of the day. I pray that I may realize that life without a goal is futile. I pray that I may find the good life worth striving for. Yeah, a life without a goal is futile. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's a cliche, but cliches become cliches because there's so much truth wrapped up in that little stinking sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Tons. All right, I'm going to let Fleece say hi to everybody in the chat and then let her talk about this whole share squad thing.
Uh-oh. Mousegate 2020. That one doesn't want to connect. Or do I just not see it? Oh, it's on the TV. Jeez. Okay. I'm on technical difficulties. Good evening, Mr. Teeter.
Teeter
and yes,
is the winner.
You are first.
Teeter won.
Hey, Carmen. Shout out to Anchored Hearts, Marcus. Glad you're here. How are you doing? 85 days sober. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yes.
So proud of you, Carmen. So
I feel
proud.
the same way. Like when I say that, what you just said, if I can do it, you can do it. I'm like, if I can do it, you can do it. I know what you mean.
Knew who I was.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Alicia, hi. Glad you're here. Let's see. Did you want to look at something?
You're just slow.
Well, there's multiples. Desmond.
Desi, what's going on, brother?
Howdy, Facebook user.
Howdy.
Hey, Kyle.
Kyle, you're awake.
What up, PD?
That was so awesome, dude.
Sky, beautiful as always. Yep. Link's new haircut. He loves it. Shows off his battle scars. Tabrina, glad you're here.
Hey, Tabrina.
Marcus, very glad you're here.
Marcus, what's going on? Give us an update.
We got Heather here.
I'm a recovering drug addict, 18 months on methadone.
Well,
welcome.
on 18 months.
All right, Heather, since you're new here, hopefully you're still watching. I'm just give you a little nutshell what we do here. We are a recovery education channel. If you are just getting off of drugs, we're here to support you. If you've got years clean, we're here to help educate because that's what I need. I need to educate myself. We go through books like Addictive Personality. We've gone through this book, Staying Sober. We've gone through the 12 steps. We just study recovery because we want to learn what's going on in our mind. I, twice in my life, have hit complete rock bottom. Early 2000s was meth. In my 30s, I became a belligerent blackout drunk, had to do detox. I've been to jails. I've been to institutions. Third on the list would be death. And so now I'm here to teach. And it's a selfish reason because the more I dig deep into recovery, the more I benefit in my sobriety. The more I take care of myself, the more I can give back. And that's what you're seeing here. And I'm just really glad you're here. If you want to let us know anything about where you're from or anything like that, feel free. Join our community. We have a ton of loving people that are 24 hours ready to support.
Glad you're here. PD, Share Squad.
Times 10.
Hey, Mark. What up?
Hey, Mark. What's up, brother?
And we got you, Heather. Hello. Oh, you again. Shared. Thank you.
Heather.
Christine. Hello.
Hi, Christine.
Alicia's exhausted but listening.
Alicia.
Alyosha. I'm back. Glad you're back.
I'm glad you're back.
JJ Johnson.
What's up,
hello.
JJ?
Hey, Jenny. Hey, Raylene.
Hey, Jenny.
She says, after 6 days clean, my husband relapsed and nowhere to be found. I think I'm done.
No.
Sometimes you get to that point where you just can't take anymore and it's more harmful for you to stay than it is for you to leave. And sometimes it takes cutting ties in order for them to realize what they had and find their real rock bottom.
Yeah.
It's not always a bad thing.
If it's going to mess with your sobriety, take care of yourself, girl.
Or even just you, if you're not a druggie, take care of. That's what Al-Anon teaches. You got to take care of you because you can't change nobody else.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's heartbreaking.
It is. That's tough to say goodbye to somebody you love and let them.
He wasn't trying to go to groups or nothing, huh? So he wasn't into recovery at all. That's a bummer. I'm sorry.
Up on Friday. That's tough. Praying for you. Praying for him. Sometimes leaving isn't giving up.
Don't give up.
It's,
Marcus.
Love,
give us an update, brother.
Love from a distance is what they call it.
My son's father's inactive and was locked up on Friday. Oh, I'm sorry. Dang jail.
That's Heather. Sabrina, today I have 1 year clean.
Yeah.
Yes. More than any ways you can know. Thank you all for everything you do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Your encouraging words keeps us going. And if we can give value to you, thank you. And I'm glad that just brings joy to my heart knowing that we're helping.
Yes. Tracy, good evening.
Yeah.
Adrian, late but here. Good evening.
What's up?
Teresa, Tiara.
Creepy
cat.
What's up, Naomi?
Glad you're here. Oh, Lish fought the mountain and won. Atta girl. You show it who's boss. Marilyn, hello. Aubrey, we love
What's up,
you.
Bobs? How's the wife? Update, please.
JJ, 1 year on Wednesday.
Dude.
Congratulations.
Man, this is positive.
Wonderful. Hey, Mo.
What's up, Mo?
What up, Ophelia? Happy Sunday. Shri, happy Monday. Yes, Andrew. Glad you're here. Jacqueline, hello. Yeah, that guilt and shame. Oh, look, I'm almost done. Aubrey said, I've done an experiment for 8 days and it worked out bad.
Well, now you know.
Well, okay. Hey, Heather. Yeah, we're glad you're here. In Gardner's, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Maria, 13 months today. Yay. I'm not
Woo!
stopping. That a
Year and a
girl.
month. Yeah. Looking back, Maria, isn't it crazy? What the heck were we thinking? Man.
Oh, there's my beautiful Raina.
Hello.
I love her. What up, Todd?
Hey, Todd.
Marcus, I'm not well.
Not well. Still drinking. On the run from
On the
probation.
Extreme efforts.
Bro.
Well, that's only going to take you so far. It's going to catch up to you.
Play the tape. You know how it ends. We know how it ends. Been there, done that. More than once. I was running from I don't know if I've told this story before, but I had the week. What happened? So I got arrested on a warrant. I had a backpack full of stolen crap because I'm a tweaker. And I bailed myself. This is back in the early 2000s. So, credit cards and all the bail bondsmen would only take cash and that kind of stuff, right? But I had a checkbook. Of course, it wasn't mine. And I wrote a check to this bail bondsman. And I was a silver-tongued devil and bailed myself out of jail. The owner of that bail bondsman company fired the dude who took the check because they only take cash. And then I was on the run from this dude. He was chasing me. I was literally 2 steps ahead of the guy. I would find a place and I don't know, he was investigating and calling and chasing me down. Went to a spot. I had all my stuff, took all my stuff. I was literally crawling through fields. This is how I got caught for the burglary because I had done a burglary a week before, and in my backpack I had a Social Security card that I stole, and that fell out at my cousin's house when I was raiding her dad's closet to get camouflage clothes, running from this bail bondsman dude. And I was just about to get on a train and go to Vegas and have my cousin pick me up. My cousin worked for the railroad, and he told me where to hide and all that stuff. And I was going to get picked up in Vegas and continue running. But luckily my mom intervened and paid the bail bondsman, and it just stopped. But he told me, man, I'm going to shoot you. But then guess what? The backpack had the Social Security card. 1 week later, after I paid my mom paid my fine because I wasn't doing anything responsible. I was homeless at this point, tweaking on meth like crazy. I show up at this apartment or this trailer park, and it's right next door to the place we robbed, right? We're smoking the meth from the computer and stuff that we sold. And he's like, bro, you got to go. You got to go. I'm like, what? Now what's being all weird? And little did I know he'd snitched on me because the cops had knew, and they knew about the card and blah, blah, blah. I get in the back, we back out of the driveway out in this car. I'm hiding my dope because 6 cop cars surround us. And I get out of the car. I'm like, I took care of that, thinking it was the bail bondsman thing. I didn't even know they knew about the burglary. And that's where that ended. On the run, tweaking my butt off. And I ended up in jail for a year. 4 months in a halfway house. Stupid.
So, an hour later.
Yeah, an hour later, bud.
Sabrina, I don't have the words to let you know how much y'all helped me, and thank you to Steve, a good guy.
Awesome,
Me.
Steve.
Glad
Thank
you invited her, Steve. Ob's Rife is doing good. Write down her daily basis specialist. Sweet.
Blood sugar levels.
Oh, I seen Big Brother in there. Where you at? Hey, Big Brother.
Happy. What's up, brother?
We got Libby.
Hi, Libby. Hello, AA. Right on. I love AA.
All right. And that's everybody. So, are we going to announce the winners now?
You are.
I have a whole list here of winners.
So we've been doing this thing called the Share Squad, and we said whoever does the sharing, the top 5 sharers are going to get bookmarks, right? So Felice has been over here tallying it up, so she's going to tell everybody about those winners right now.
And I do believe we adjusted it. We have a couple extra. So, drum roll, please.
We had a few ties. So how many are we actually going to announce?
10.
So 10. So we went through it, and we had some ties in there. We're like, well, we can't just flip a coin, because it was more than 5. And so we're going to increase the number to the 10 people that shared are going to get bookmarks. So if you're listening and you hear your name read, you need to shoot us your address to this email right there. And then we can mail you out some bookmarks. And Mama, if Kenny, if you're watching, Melissa, I've completely forgot to mail yours, and I will get to that tomorrow, I promise.
Yes. Give me a drum roll, Linky. And the first winner is Antoine. Whoop, whoop. He's number 1. Number 2 is Sapper, a.k.a. Kyle, a.k.a. Napsalot. Just kidding. I like you, Kyle. Next, we have PD, another winner. Number 4 is Michelle Martin. You will be getting a bookmark. And then we have the one and the only Adrian.
Adrian.
Good job. And then Steve Sherwood, you also get one, as well as Tracy Wolf. Congrats. John V, you made the list, bud. Naomi Johnson and Carmen D. Y'all are winners. I'll read through it one more time. If you missed your name, you'll probably hear it this time. We have Antoine, Kyle, aka Sapper, Petey, Michelle Martin, Adrian, Steve Sherwood, Tracy Wolf, John V, Naomi Johnson, and Carmen D.
Carmen
Send
D.
us your address, and we will send you
Bookmarks.
bookmarks.
And if my business cards get here in time, I ordered new ones because we ran out. We'll send you a bunch of those too. And some other little tiny things Felice will put in there.
Yeah, maybe I'll throw your names on the group too. I'll just a list.
All right, yeah,
In
if you
case
guys
you're
are
not
not
here
in the
tonight.
private Facebook group, Felice will throw the list in there. That way, if you missed the show or you want to make sure your name was read, join our private Facebook group and then also join our Discord. That's where we really get to know each other. It's a great place to be. And with that, thank you guys so much for sharing. And honestly, you never know who heard it and who we helped. And I don't say we, I say us as a collective community, because we recover better together. That's our motto, because
Yep.
we're a team. We're just up here talking about recovery. It's the group in the private Facebook and the group in Discord and the people that are in the comments and the behind the scenes stuff that really makes this foundation amazing. So if
Even you guys in the digital bushes out there.
even y'all in the digital bushes, we love you too.
Sky, we'll hook you up.
Yes,
Did Sky buy you? You bought a T-shirt, didn't you?
Sky needs one. Okay, it's that time right now for inside a Discord that I was just talking about. There's a tab in here, questions for the live stream, and we have two really awesome questions. One is from Weird Vic. This person says, I have a question. How can someone deal with intrusive thoughts of fear that you can at any time relapse? Say if you have 5 years of sobriety and once in a while you get one of those thoughts. How do you overcome that negativity and fear so that you can essentially continue your sobriety worry-free? It is inherent in all of us who are sober, right? Does anybody else relate that you have a fear of relapse in your sobriety? It's a possibility. People do relapse. Relapse happens a lot. The statistics prove it. So, of course, I looked up some things about this could become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we don't want to do that. So what is that? What's a self-fulfilling prophecy? It's like this. You're driving a car down the street, right? You're doing just fine. There's some traffic, but no big deal. But then you get caught up in the concern that you might hit a car beside you. Am I going too fast? Am I too close to the line? Are they crossing into my lane? Is that their phone in their hand? After a few minutes, there's this impact. Bam! Remember, driver's education. If you look in one direction, you're liable to steer that way, right? Obsession about something can steer you right into the place you don't want to be. So first off, you don't want to be obsessing about this fear. Relapse is not inevitable. This article goes on to say, sometimes relapse feels like it is looming there in the distance, like some kind of inevitability. But remember, you have the power to make the choice to structure your life in any way that helps. In any way that helps you guard against relapse. So instead of fearing it, build infrastructure in your life that keeps you safe from addiction. Make sure you're putting up the walls, right? And helps you thrive. Fear will tear you apart if you let it. But if you look and replace it as just one more thing you need to set up a safety measure for proactively, eventually you will see that you are in control of your life and not addiction. You are now in control of your life, not addiction. and you need to set up the safety barriers around you just in case, right? We always make these plans. Over the last week, we talked about heavily relapse prevention plans. In our Zoom meeting, we actually wrote down and read relapse prevention plans. That would be a good start. You would never teach your child to fear heights, right? You don't teach them to fear it. You would teach them to pay attention to the warning signs, to not pass the guardrail. So you need to look at your fears and set up those same warning signs for yourself. Find those guardrails and respect them. And there's ways that we can conquer it. And you got to have a plan for every day. You wouldn't set off a cross-country journey without making some type of plan where you're going to stop, get gas, the food you're going to take, and making sure the maintenance in your car is right. You're on a journey to recovery. Have a plan.
For every minute you spend angry or sad, you lose 60 seconds of happiness.
That's so true, buddy.
That's true.
And I like this one right here, number 2. It's good to acknowledge. So acknowledge the fact that relapse could happen. There's no sense of hiding behind the wall of denial. You can't avoid a relapse by refusing to recognize that the potential is there and it's real. Experts recommend that you acknowledge that you could falter, give into a craving, or fall into the wrong crowd again. Just acknowledge that relapse could happen despite your best intentions. Just because you say it aloud or think it does not mean that it's going to happen. Just the contrary, actually. Listen to this. By stating that you know the potential is there gives you the power to be more in control over your actions. Remember, it isn't the thoughts that cause relapse, but the actions that follow. So by expressing the truth, relapse could happen. By expressing the truth that relapse could happen, you deprive the thought of the power to haunt you and make you feel as if you can't do anything about it. You can, and you will be able to deal with the pitfalls of relapse. And then you don't want to dwell on it. So after you acknowledge it, don't sit and dwell on it. You need to get on with your life and the business of your life, right? And then replace negative thoughts with positive ones, and then find an outlet. You're replacing the old. Remember our saying, that nature abhors a vacuum. You remove all the negativity and you replace it with positivity. If you don't, you're going to get vacuum sucked right back into the negative things. And then with fear, it made me think about your thoughts. I was talking to Jake about this earlier today, and I've heard it a lot in recovery. You can't not control that first thought. The first thought hits you, fear looms, right? The chemicals from your brain release, your heart races. You can't control that thought, but you can control the second thought. And if you use the tools that you're learning in recovery with that second thought and moving forward to the 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th, 50th thought, and you keep working your thoughts in a positive manner, you give it 3 to 5 minutes, those chemicals your brain released will wear off and you will overcome that fear. This too shall pass. Don't dwell on it and don't focus on relapse. You may have a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do I fear it? No. But do I acknowledge it could happen? Yes. But have I set myself up for success or failure? That is the real key. We learned in this book that relapse happens up here. It's like, remember what we've always said? Relapse is walking up a moving down escalator. And if you stop moving forward up this escalator, you're going to go down, and you want to stop. As soon as you recognize the warning signs that you've stopped moving forward in your recovery, that's when you take your inventory twice, 3, 5, 10 times a day. At night, you do a step 10, right? And you correct it. And so you set yourself up with the tools mentally to understand awareness of your mind, how you're acting, what you're thinking. And then you set yourself up with a support system. You've closed all your back doors. Everybody knows you're in recovery. You've told your doctor. You've told everybody you have to tell. You set yourself up for success so that the possibility of relapse minimizes to a very minimal.
Yeah, that's good advice.
So I think it's something
Did you
about
see who's
like
back?
that. Who?
Bob.
Whoa, Bob.
Bob's back. I love when Bob's here. He was in the real bushes.
Out in mountain climbing. We were just talking about you the other day. Like, anybody seen Bob? Oh, I'm glad to see you, brother.
Yeah, sorry to hear about Miss Daisy, though. Hold on.
Good to see Bob.
She got drunk, blew dirty.
Got drunk while I was away, blew dirty on her intox clock POs. They're the very next. Oh, man. Which one's Miss Daisy?
The one he drives around.
Oh.
He's always driving Miss Daisy. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah. We have another question out of Discord we got to get to.
Oh, I just wanted to go to Sky real quick. She said she missed it, but she does have a plan.
Good, Sky. Good.
And Teeter wanted me to bring this up. He said, pretty please, and I don't know if it's too late. About where? Oh, I'll find it. It's right there.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. We'll have to do it on the next one, brother. Unless Fleece sends it to me while I do this, and I'll get through this question, and then I'll do what you just said. So Devin Rex has a question. This person says, I have 15 months of sobriety, then I relapsed for 6 months. Ugh. Heartbreak, right? Just coming out of that now. Praise God. I'm glad you're coming out of it. Hopefully. This person says, very early days, right? Just a few days sober. But she says, I feel very resentful about people with 2 years of sobriety. I'm jealous. I think that should be me. I want them to be sober, don't get me wrong, but I feel so crappy about it. They are so full of positivity and progress, and I'm struggling with mental obsession, just trying to stay away from the drink today. I feel like a failure. Any ideas or thoughts on this? I had a lot of ideas and thoughts on that. Your journey is your journey. Everybody's recovery is different. Just because you fell after 15 months doesn't mean you still have 15 months of sobriety, of success, right? You messed up 6 months in, or for 6 months, but you're back on track now, and that is a good thing. I wanted to touch on character defects, because what I see happening here is a lot of character defects. I don't know if you take your inventory. Let me put this up on the screen so you guys can take a screenshot if you have not done that. Where is it? Right here. Take a picture of this. If you notice on the left-hand side, it's my left. I don't know if it's your guys' left, but it says impatience, procrastination, 1 through 17, right? And if you look on the very far right side, it says character assets. Character assets are what we want to live in. Character defects are what we do not want to live in. So you need to measure yourself to see where you're at. And I was thinking about these character defects. Go ahead and take a screenshot before I pull it down. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and done. And so I was thinking that you have, and you may not like to hear this first one, but self-importance. Having or giving an exaggerated opinion of your importance. That should be me. Why should that be you? You're not that person. That's self-importance. That's putting your importance above that person. I know you don't wish bad for them, but you're thinking that should be me, which why should it be? We're all we're all at the level we're on. We have to deal with just ourselves without looking out. Don't let other people's sobriety affect you. Everybody, some people are smarter than others. I look at people with high IQs, people who can public speak really well, and that takes me to the character defect of envy, right? Number 13 on that list. Envy is wanting or coveting something that doesn't belong to another. But what's the character asset to envy is gratitude. I would look at, instead of being envious, saying, awesome, I can learn something and I can achieve that. They can achieve it. I can achieve it. And I'm grateful that I relapsed for 6 months. I'm back on track now. And guess what? I didn't die. You're not in jail, I don't think. Do you have any court problems? Look at the positive side of it now that you're back on track. Another thing is self-pity. You're having distorted thoughts that you're being treated unfair. You're looking at your relapses like, it wasn't fair, right? They get to be 2 years sober, I don't. And so instead of having self-pity, having distorted thoughts that you're being treated unfair, acceptance. Oh, well, I accept it, right? What was another one I was looking at? Self-condemnation. And now you're blaming yourself inaccurately and you're putting yourself down. And so instead of being in this self-condemnation of this character defect, start valuing yourself, valuing the positive side of your sobriety. What do you have now? You've gained a community that's totally behind you digitally. You are part of our Discord. You're part of the private Facebook group. We got education going on here 3 nights a week. You have recovery in your pocket plus your local surroundings. So I think you just need to work on your character defects to get out of that and start actually praising and reaching out and helping people. What I had something up here. I might have lost it. Dang it. But you're kind of in guilt and shame, and it's kind of a good topic that you're in today for that question, because you probably are feeling shame and guilt. And now we need to do what is the difference between guilt and shame. And we'll get into that here in just a second. It's 8:30. Do we have anything else? I think that's it. But thank you guys for the questions in Discord. Whoa, who did this?
Marilyn, thank you, Marilyn.
Wow.
We need them cool things that like pops up and it's like "Biddy-biddy-boo."
Dang, Marilyn, thank you very much.
And we do recover better together. Ain't no lie.
Awesome. I just want you all to know that people that support us through the super chat, I'm going to take a small portion, and I'm planning on this week to grab some pizzas and go right around the corner and feed the homeless people that are hanging out just right behind us. And just give them some love and show them some love from Recovering Addict community. I think it'll be great. So Marilyn, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks lots. I sent you that picture. I think it worked.
Cassie just sent me a video.
Just kidding about the live.
That's funny. So I sent Cassie the link to join us live, and then she sent me a video that says, sorry. So if we do Cassie, we'll have to do the whole, well, then I can't do audio, and we're not going to hear from Cassie tonight.
Bye, Kyle.
Oh, well, sorry, Kyle. So I was set to leave on the 1st, but honestly had the same fears. With that, I decided to start another month or two. What do you mean? Oh, to come get out of rehab?
I don't know. I feel like we missed something somewhere. I'm
Fears of relapse.
behind on the chat.
Hey, Sober Rob, good question. So we have one more book we're going to get through, and I'm hesitant to go through it. I don't want to.
Oh, she's talking to Carmen.
It's called It Will Never Happen to Me. It's a book, right? About growing up around addicts and alcoholics and then saying it'll never happen to me. But honestly, what's on my heart, what I really want to do once we finish this book is I want to go through page 1 and all the way to 164 of the big book. I want to break it down. I want to look at the history. I want to read every page, teach every chapter through those. So maybe I'll put a poll out and see which book we should do first. You know what? That's what I'll do. Thanks, Ob. Go ahead.
That's first part of the conversation. I'm here at the Sawyer House in Mesa. Leaving the house in October, I have fears of relapsing. I'm nervous. This will be my first time going in the wild on my own.
Carmen, you have every right to be afraid. It's okay to feel that fear. Think about that fear and what's causing you to fear that. And if it's being at a place, fix that place. There's things you can do to fix it. Set yourself up with a support system, have a relapse prevention plan. You know, you're not going to run out into the 120-degree street barefoot and burn yourself on the pavement. All right, no, you're going to put shoes on. You're probably maybe get an umbrella to cover yourself from the sun. You know, just set yourself up with the tools and the weapons you need to win this battle. And it is harder because all of a sudden you go from being around 24-hour recovery to all of a sudden back in the real world where everybody around you start seeing their character defects. You hear their criticizing. And it's hard not to get sucked into that.
Then you have to slowly face them trigger moments and battle through them.
Yep. And if you have a trigger and you have a moment like today, I had a trigger today. This old dude lives up the street from us, and he was my Sunday night guy if I ran out of whiskey. Because if you run out of whiskey and the liquor stores close here on Sunday, you're screwed, right? You're trying to drink 25 beers and you just don't get drunk even if you can finish them all. But he pulled up in the driveway today just to say hi. And it was 2-3 o'clock or something. Yeah. And just sitting there talking to him. I love talking to this. He's got old Vietnam vet, helicopter pilot, Agent Orange, just has all the stories that you could sit there for hours listening to this guy. And then one thing I would like to do once I was drinking, I was like, hey, let's go up to Randy's. And as soon as I'd sit down at Randy's house, he'd slide me a cup full of ice, half gallon of whiskey. And I'd just sit there and just pound whiskey and listen to him talk for hours. soon as he pulled up and we started communicating and talking, hey, how things going, this and that, it was just like, man, I want to drink. I feel like going up there and just drinking. And as soon as he pulled away, I told Felice, woo, I feel like drinking. And instantly, just by saying it out loud, it took the power out of it.
Mm-hmm. Hardcore suffering, fasting, and prayer. Ooh, smeared tears and snot on everything over 13,000 feet.
Wow.
Lots of praying on my knees in repentance.
Oh,
Lots of weight too.
that's not a
I
bad
need to
thing.
go do that.
That is not a bad thing. Good job, Bob.
Bob votes for Big Book.
Bob's vote is for Big Book. Right on. Yeah, I'll definitely put it on the Facebook group just to check it out. I fear for my son's father. I'm so scared he's going to die. Yeah, jails, institutions, and death. That's a very
It's a real
legitimate fear. We have had suicides this last week here at SOAR. We've had, people, and it's scary. Relapse today is scary. Not good. How should I overcome my thinking? How can I get stuff today from where I tried many times to be clean, many times relapse, and now 11 and 12 years I'm taking, I want to be clean. Start learning recovery, brother. The first thing I would do is to stop using. 100% stop using. It's not going to be easy. I didn't say that. But get your mind clean from the drugs and the alcohol or whatever you're taking. Let that chemical wear out of your body. Start feeding your body with healthy nutrition. Start drinking water, and eating good food. Let your mind clear up and start studying recovery. Start studying this kind of stuff where you can take your character defects. Start looking at books like this, Addictive Personality, and understanding and applying it to yourself. This book right here, Staying Sober by Terrence Gorski, is probably my favorite book that we've gone through. All the links are in the description. Click a few of those books. Read the first 90 pages of NA, first 164 pages of AA. You're in our Facebook page. Jump into our Discord and start asking questions. There's a lot of people in there that will help you. Get clean and start asking questions. And then whatever the answers are from these wiser people that you'll learn from on Facebook and in Discord and anywhere in your local community that has support systems, start doing what they say. That will help your recovery 100%. Yeah, so far it's been a really good book. We're almost done with it, and let's jump into it right now. We're going to talk about guilt and shame. It's only one page, and then I got an article that's going to help us cope with guilt and shame, and there's really a good spot because we've talked about guilt and shame in this book already once before if you've been here with us. But addiction is in part about shame. Addicts feel shame because of their addiction and because of how they act. Many people, therefore, enter recovery. Raise your hand if this is you, because it was me. It was a lot of us. A lot of people enter recovery with a deep sense of shame. Others who enter recovery may not feel shame at all, believing that there is nothing wrong with what they did. So at some point during their recovery, however, these people enter a period of deep shamefulness as they look more honestly at their past actions. We're clean now. We look at our past. We look at the destruction we've caused. Physically, you can look in the mirror and see it. I step on the scale after I did it, and I could see it. I go to pick up something heavy, and I couldn't pick it up anymore. I look at my wife's depressed face. When I think back on it and hear from my friends how her attitude's totally different now than when I was drinking, and you can't help but feel this types of shame. Two of my boys moved to Washington, one of them while I was in active addiction, so maybe that had to do with that. There's all kinds of shame that comes with addiction. I feel it just like y'all. And the more honest you are, you'll feel these things. But that's the point. Get honest and start looking, because then you can correct them, right? In recovery, we work hard to unravel the knots of shame that have tied us to addiction, kept us acting out. Acting out is part of the addiction. We go, we seek, we use, we do our little rituals. We, have our pipes and we just package it just perfect. And then we have our little special spots, and all of that is entwined. And that's what they mean by acting out. So keep us acting out. We're looking at these things and perpetuated our addictive process. And let me read that again. This is what we're doing in recovery. We work hard to unravel the knots of shame that have tied us to our addiction, kept us acting out, and perpetuated the addictive process. We're working hard to unravel those knots. During recovery, we explore our feelings of shame to understand our addictive logic, right? Logic. What is our addictive logic? Here's one logical statement that was smacked in my face when I was in my IOP. At 47 days, you can see I got white, orange, right? At 47 days, I drank 3 shots of whiskey to prove to myself I didn't have a drinking problem, to prove to myself I was in control, to prove to myself I didn't need to go to my IOP, to prove that I could drink it when I wanted to drink it, to prove that I'm not going to drink more than that. So I bought a little half pint of whiskey. I went out at 8. I left it in the drawer for 6-7 hours. I'll drink it when I decide because I'm in control, right? This is what I was trying to prove. I have the power. And we ate. We come home. I take 3 shots. Nothing happens. I don't get drunk. I wake up with a slight headache. I go to my IOP, confess. Hey, I drank 3 shots the other night. My counselor looks at me. Now listen to this logic. He goes, so you mean to tell me you checked into detox? You checked into this IOP because you have a drinking problem? I'm like, that's correct, sir. And you had to go take 3 shots of whiskey and drink to prove that you don't have a drinking problem? I'm like, that was logic that got slapped in my face. We had stinking thinking, right? That was my addictive logic that got me in the trouble I was in. And so what we're doing in recovery, we explore our feelings of shame to understand our addictive logic. What kind of logic was I trying to prove? I had a drinking problem. I destroyed my family. I ruined my reputation at work. I had to check into the hospital. I got 47 days clean. I better have a few shots of whiskey to prove I don't have a drinking problem. Does that even make sense? No.
No. Hey, can you do Libby a favor? Libby, where you at?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh. Take your comments away.
That is the character defect list I think you were talking about.
There you go.
Bueno?
I think so.
Is Cassie in the comments?
I didn't see her.
Huh. 3 times. Ay. That is scary.
That's,
Healthy fear.
That's insane.
The more I talk about the shameful thing, write about it, and pray about it, the less power it has over me. Amen. Bob, you work an awesome program. You should be my sponsor, Bob. 12 years has been sitting on the porch with me, and I watched and listened to you. He's not an addict, says you guys are awesome, and said he's learned a lot from you. It's awesome. Well, shout out to you, man. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Glad you're there.
That's way cool.
Teresa uploaded that in the Discord, that list. I'll put the link to
Oh, thanks, Teresa. Oh, I love the support. That is beautiful. All right, so where were we? We're talking about guilt and shame, man. Addictive logic. How stupid was I? We realized that as pleasure-centered people, what were we when we were doing drugs and alcohol? Trying to find the most amount of pleasure and the least amount of pain in life, right? So we felt shame and depression about our addiction. And to cover that up, we went on drinking. And now as power-centered people, because we're in control, right? We feared the loss of that control. And that would come with admitting our powerlessness. 47 days in, I ain't going to admit I'm powerless. I'm a power-centered person. I'm in control. And that was the fear that I had. Underlying, if I'm going to be honest, I thought I was going to lose control. And I feared admitting my powerlessness. And so I grasped for still more power, right? By grabbing that stinking 3 shots of whiskey and drinking it. Stupid. And so we grasp for still more power and control by eating everything in the refrigerator or going back to the gaming table, certain our luck is going to change. It's going to change this time. Look, I can drink 3 shots of whiskey. It's going to change. It's totally different this time. Recovery, though, listen, we learn is not about shame. Shame is judgment we place on our own being rather than against our actions. Recovery is about allowing us to feel guilt. Okay, guilt, shame, and guilt. Write this down if you got a pen and paper, take notes, or try to remember this. And when you start feeling this feeling of shame and guilt, it's the same type of a feeling, right? But you need to switch it to guilt. Switch from shame to guilt. Remember that. When you feel it, analyze it. Is it shame? Is it guilt? What are you going to do with it? And feel it, understand it, learn from it. Recovery is about allowing us to feel guilt. As recovering people, we need to learn the difference between shame and guilt. Guilt means we have committed an action that was wrong or not helpful to others or ourselves. Guilt means we have committed an action that was wrong or not helpful to others or to ourselves. We can then think about and correct the offending action. Guilt. What did I do? What action am I feeling guilty about? What wrong did I have that wasn't helpful to others or myself? And now I can correct that. I can fix that. We can then think about and correct the offended action, regaining our sense of self-respect. Though we're guilty, we can correct the mistake and be forgiven. And the mistake can be forgotten. You see? You correct it. Okay, I made this mistake. This is how I acted. This is the way I treated everybody. I feel guilty for that. Make some apologies. Correct that action, and it will be forgiven and forgotten about, and you move on. With shame, though, there is no forgiveness, and nothing is ever forgotten. Shaming families can maintain the same fight for years and years, undiminished and unchanged.
Teeter's got a question. Okay, so question. If hubby wants to have a drink for himself and he knows I'm trying to quit and has been there all this way with me, what would you say?
What do you need a drink for?
If I was like, babe, I'm going to have a glass of wine.
I
How
wouldn't
would that
want her
make
to
you
drink.
feel?
I would feel jealous. I would want it. I would be craving it. I don't know. How would you feel? Why would you say that?
I don't know why I'm saying that.
I don't know, Andrew. That's on you, man.
I think that's a tough balance
That's
right
putting Teeter in a high risk situation, in my opinion. That's thinking of yourself over Teeter's recovery. Are you an average temperate drinker, and can you drink like me? I can't do it. I can't drink. You might be the kind that can. There are those out there who can drink and not ruin their lives and their livers. But where you're committed to somebody, you're committed to a family of recovering people like Jenny and all that. Well, I don't know why you would want to even do that. Maybe ask yourself that. I don't know. That's a tough one without me being a jerk about it. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a hard one because, like, why do I need to suffer because you're an addict? You know what I mean? I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And Andrew isn't an addict, but Teeter is.
Like, why can't I have a drink just because you can't? Like, that's the devil's advocate of that.
It just comes to your values.
And you would probably have to draw boundaries. If Andrew wanted to drink, it wouldn't be around Teeter.
Yeah. Make sure Teeter's nowhere around. I would just draw like Fleece said, draw boundaries. If you do want to drink,
if that's what it comes down to,
come up with a plan, a mutual agreement about it. Keep Teeter as safe as possible, and then you do it as comfortable as you're comfortable doing it.
Yeah. Like, there's no way I would have a drink, especially when you're so early in sobriety, and it would just be bad.
Saying my old drinking buddy today triggered me.
I think, I'm not a big drinker anyways, but even 20 years from now, I'm not even sure I'd want a glass of wine.
I'll have it under control by then.
I don't know. Maybe I will want a glass of wine in 20 years. Who knows? I doubt it. That's just, you could do without. But
I don't know. Andrew, what are your thoughts? I want to hear from Andrew.
Yeah, what does Andrew think? I know he's sitting right by you.
So much rage and anger to self. The more I suppress, the negative, more they express. Amen. It is tough, man. It is hard to forgive yourself. Shout out. What's up, Michael? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. We're going over guilt and shame. How do we get rid of that? How do we forgive ourselves, Michael? How did you forgive yourself? I know how I forgave myself. I trusted in one that forgave me. But there's an article I pulled up. It's called Tips for Coping with Guilt and Shame and Recovery. And I like this first one. It's called Face the Guilt. Face your feelings of guilt head on. Release them by talking about them, sharing them, and confessing them. And here's the key to sobriety, right? Being honest. And then here's a little spot that says learn to forgive yourself. The question is do you judge yourself severely and berate the mistakes you've made? Berate the mistakes that you've made? Ooh, acceptance. That is a good one. Accept the fact that you can't change the past. Maybe God will have to give you the wisdom to discern between what you can and can't change, knowing that that's one that you can't, and you have to accept it. Yeah, the past is the past. Good point.
I think that step where you make amends is probably very beneficial to this guilt and shame.
Yeah.
Probably get rid of a lot of it.
Examine the root of your guilt. There's no good reason to feel guilty if the situation's out of your control. Are your reasons for feeling guilty rational and reasonable? And then change your actions. We just learned about that with guilt. Again, guilt isn't always unreasonable. If your source of guilt is something truly unhealthy or unproductive like drug use, then make some efforts to stop. Clarify your feelings. Clarify new values for yourself. Act on them instead of dwelling on the past. Put your energy in what you can change. You're never too old to change your future. You're always too old to change your past. I like that.
Where's Link? That's a Linky quote.
You're never too old to change your future. You're always too old to change your past. And then practice empathy. This is a really good one. Lend a hand here and there. Learn to empathize and forgive others. And you'll learn to do the same for yourself. Go to AA meetings. They say if you haven't been in an AA meeting where you didn't like somebody, you haven't gone to enough. So start getting involved in recovery communities to where you bump heads with somebody. I've seen it in the Discord a lot now. People bump heads, and guess what that gives them an opportunity to do? Empathize and forgive. And guess what they learn how to do? They can turn that introspectively into themselves, and they can do the same for themselves. Forgive and give them self-empathy. Take charge in your community by involving yourself with a group or organization that speaks to you. Get involved. Apologize and make peace. Have you tried apologizing? It might be uncomfortable or even scary, but an apology can go a long way with relief. Even in step 8, I made a list of all the people I've harmed and I became willing, right? We learned that in the 12 steps that we took. Just by writing it down and becoming willing to apologize is a freedom. Remember, the 12 steps is about us. It's a selfish work in a good, healthy way. We're taking care of ourselves. We are freeing ourselves. By step 8, we become willing. That adds to freedom. In step 9, we start making these amends and the freedom continues. Step 4, we're freeing ourselves of resentment, anger, and fear. Steps 8 and 9, we're getting rid of guilt, shame, and fear. Guilt is an opportunity for my faith to grow. Shame is a lie. Shame can lead to suicide. And then deconstruct your guilt. You can't forgive yourself for mistakes you've made if you can't clearly define them. So analyze your mistakes individually is the key to feeling better. Saying hurtful things to people is never okay, but yelling at someone because you were feeling jealous, betrayed, rejected, or insulted, that's understandable. So analyze. Were you jealous? Were you betrayed? Were you rejected? Were you insulted? And then you'll understand what you are feeling guilty or ashamed of.
Here's Teeter's follow-up. But I know he wouldn't put me in that situation. That's good. But hypothetically speaking, the what-if situation. But since we're talking guilt and shame, I'm sure he'd feel the guilt and shame if he drank.
Why are we going to what ifs?
Yeah.
I don't live in what ifs, brother.
What ifs? But in that what if, it comes down to, I think, self-importance. Like,
Yeah,
do I feel like I deserve it?
that's
Like,
character
why am I
defect world.
drinking? And vice versa.
That's a leaky quote, Petey said.
Yeah, right? I'm telling you.
Hold on. Let me ask.
I wrote about this extensively just the last month. Filled up another spiral ring notebook. My sponsor is now up to speed. I have worked step 6 and extensively. I'm at 8 and 9 with the matter. Awesome, man. Bob, you're awesome.
Nice.
Making amends to myself for the shocking way I've treated myself. Yeah, you got to make amends to yourself eventually, right?
Yep.
Everybody say welcome back to Bob.
Welcome back, Bob.
Link says, welcome back, Bob. Hey, Linky, there's a quote on here for you.
And someone said you need one of them cool old gangster hats from like the 30s or whatever, with your slick back hair, like Peaky Blinders.
Oh, yeah, we got one of those. You're never too old to change the future, but you're always too old to change the past.
Whoa. That is something I need to write down in my book.
You put that in your quote book.
No, man. Questions and thoughts.
Oh, my goodness.
Ah,
Should have just left it in there.
Tracy says I have a hard time forgiving myself for what happened a few years ago while had to be in jail, having PO, and now treatment. I know I used drinking to forget what happened and to hide the pain. Well, eventually you'll have to forgive yourself. I agree with that.
Right on. Okay.
Bob said thanks, Link.
I have messy hair.
Yeah, your hair is crazy. What is up with the back?
Ready?
Yeah. Well, not.
Who are we not? God,
grant
me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Is that it? All right.
Oh, hey, Twitcher.
What's up, Twitch?
You got another one?
Neutral strength of spirit to shield you with sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imagination. Many fears are fatigue and loneliness. Right on. Hey, thanks for watching there, Mind Delusion. I like that. It's a good quote. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think.
All righty.
He's got a vape
Today
collection.
is Sunday. We will be back Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Marilyn, for that super chat. You guys stay tuned. Watch the private Facebook group. I'm going to be putting a poll on there here tonight about what book to actually go through next. I will list those out. If you guys want any of the books, the links are in the description. Share this out to people you know and jump in our Discord and get to know us. You guys can reach me. I'm in there quite a bit.
One more thing. Somebody asked about the t-shirt you're wearing. Yes, they are for sale at recoveringaddict.org.
Recoveringaddict.org.
And we do have some hoodies and other t-shirts coming and some hats. They'll be here in a couple weeks.
So about 2 weeks out, we'll have Recovering Addict hats, hoodies, a couple different colored shirts. And you guys are going to, I loved it. It was Fleece's idea. But on the back, you know how on the back of them it says,
we recover better together.
we got a couple on the back that says, do not put yourself in a high risk situation.
Yeah,
They look cool.
they're pretty sweet. So recoveringaddict.org.
At recoveringaddict.org. And then if you wait a couple weeks, we'll have it populated with more options than just this shirt here. All right. I think that's the end of the show. Until next time, y'all, we'll be back Tuesday at 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time.
Oh, hey, Nicole.
Do not put yourself in a high risk situation. Stay strong, work your programs, and remember, we recover better together.